Hello everyone, today we're doing the Bergkaiser Premium Super II chassis. This one is this dude's car. His name is Michael, or Mihael, as they say in Japanese. He's from an anime. These guys in it too. This one looks pretty neat. It's got side stay, and it's also got the stabilizer head as well. So yeah, let's take a look. Super II chassis. Low profile tires, looks pretty sleek. This one is item number 19437. So we get this unboxed and then build it up. It should be pretty cool. If you want to see more unboxing and builds, we're gonna take some of these cars and upgrade them as well along the way. So first off, I'll get the top off. So we have the body, pretty wide body. Don't know how that will be for customization, but it's okay. Then we got rollers and all that stuff. Super II chassis. And this is that side stay. We got tires. And then these guys. And then in here we have all of the other extra parts that we need. Grease motor, gears, stuff like that. This one has, what's a gear ratio? I'm not sure what the gear ratio is. 351. Okay, perfect. And then we have all of the stickers. So like normal, stickers will do last, and I'll just do a little speed run of those. And then what you're going to need for this is a screwdriver. You don't need clippers, but it makes it easier. Paint, so you can get spray paint. You don't really have to, and you don't really need a modeling knife. I would recommend, you need a screwdriver. I would recommend some clippers though. And then these two are just kind of as you see fit. And then you also need two AA batteries. So yeah, there's the instructions. Let's get this going. Should be a pretty cool one. Alright, so this shouldn't be anything too crazy. Get all these little parts out here. So these will go in first. We got the gears. Cut out the gears. Got a little box of goodies, and here we have screws, stuff like that. Put those in there as well. And this is for the motor head. This one always, I think they're usually purple, sometimes black. Out of the box, you can just put that on and get that to sit flush, like so. Grease, axles, they're never straight. This one is made in Philippines, so people complain about the Philippines not having the best quality control, but we can test that out when the wheels get put on. There we go, we got the shaft. We got the terminals for the battery. Take those out too. There we go. And get this stuff cleaned up. And then a couple more screws there, which I'm pretty sure are for this. Okay. So we'll start with the body. We got a nice gray body on this one. Looks pretty nifty. My sleeves out of the way. Alright, so we're going to start with the yellow one. Right here. This yellow guy. Just pop that in. And then we'll need the two pink ones. So one pink goes over here. Oops, if I could get that in. Like so. And then one more pink goes opposite on that side. Alrighty then. Next up, we'll have the shaft that just drops right on top of there. These Super 2s are pretty easy to put together. Nothing tricky about them. You got your grease. So for the grease, you can put a little here. And then where this rests, it's also good to put some there and there. And once these start turning, that'll get it distributed a little better. And I'm sure if it's warmer, right now it's not too warm outside or inside, so it's not going to be anything crazy for the temperature. But once those start turning and moving, you'll be good to go. Okay, next we'll need to get all these wheels off. So you can just clip them. And I'll just clip to the next part. And same with the tires. You can pretty much just pull that rubber piece off. If there's extra, you can trim it up if you want. Not a huge impact, but definitely something that does bother some people. Or you can use a file. So let's get those parts cut out. Alright, so for the tires, you're just going to want to slip them on like that. Nothing too crazy, just make sure they're in place. Pretty simple. You can trim these off. I don't think it's a huge deal. So we'll get the rest of the tires on. Alright, so we got all the tires cut out. You can see these two sit flat. These do not. It's because these are a bit longer. So these ones will be going in the back. And then we need to be getting out 4 of these little guys. They'll work as similar to a bearing. They give you an extra one in each set, so you need 4 of those. And then on here, you'll have to bust out 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. These ones you don't really need clippers, you can just pop them off quite easily. Alright, so those are good to go. And then you want to put one of these in each of these little holes on the side here. Just keep an eye, make sure you're not messing up the gears or anything when you're doing this. I like to put my thumb down on that bar there. There we go. Alright, and then we got the 2 shafts for the wheels. These need to get greased up, so you can put one on. So make sure they're facing inside. So facing inside on one side so far. A little bit of grease applied on there. And then just put it through the hole and get it through the gears like so. And then kind of push that one in there. We'll do the same on the other side. There's really no right way to actually do this part. You can apply them however you like, in whatever order you want, but as long as they're in the right spot, it's fine. I like to put the grease on after they're on there, so it's not as much grease that'll get on your fingers when you're trying to put that on there. But this one doesn't want to let go. It's trying to get off. Okay, and just kind of jam that in there. And then give it a little swivel. And we'll take the 2 bigger ones. They're actually numbered on the little thing here. So we have 1, 2, and then 1. So 1 and 1, 2 and 2. So I'll put those on right now. So I just like to get it started. Don't try and get both of them on, all the way on, until you've gotten it both on, and then you can just find the center, push down, and it'll sit properly. And tried to spin it a little too early there, but again, that just plops right back down. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing on the front. And then on this side, we will get that lined up. A little bit of grease. And you can run it around if you want. You might want to have a towel or something handy. If you do, just so when you're picking up small pieces, you're not trying to pick it up with a bunch of grease on your fingers. You can see there, I didn't wipe quite as well as I should have. And here, same thing, get both sides, pinch down. There we go. And if we go, we don't want to go forward because that'll push that out, but that is how that will work. And they look, oops, just like that. Relatively straight. It'll be easier to see when we get everything on, so we don't have to be so careful. Alright, next up we have the motor, so the part that holds the motor, and then we're going to get the motor and the terminal is connected to that. So here we go. You got one of these guys. So this just goes underneath in this little groove and then clamps down. You can hear a little click. This one, same thing, little click. Those are on. So we got our standard motor. Make sure that's on there. And where this flat part is, you want that to line up with this flat part here. And this also clicks into place, and now it's nice and sturdy. So this part is going to go down here into that little open space right there, like so. And that will also kind of snap into place, and that will hold that axle down, or the, I can't remember what it's called, but it will hold that into place. Okay, now we'll get the rest of the gear set up. So we need that gear right there, and here we will need the shaft, and this one does not have a bearing, so I'm just gonna raw dog it in there. I probably have a bearing lying around somewhere I could throw in, but I like to do these just kind of how people would get them, so I'm not using any fancy tools or anything. The only thing is just a screwdriver and clippers that doesn't come in the box. So get that on there. It's nice and lubed up. So yeah, it should be good to go. And then we'll get some lube onto here too. Again, it will distribute over the course of usage. And then there's a little divot here, and then one behind it. And you just let that rest right on top of that. And then we need to clip this out. and this covers that so it stays in place. So this, you just line that up straight on top of it. Make sure you don't bump it out like I just did. But this one actually sits pretty well, so might not need the extra bit like you need in there sometimes, and that didn't go in. So this part needs to go into back behind there, and then we can screw down this piece as well. You don't have to, it's clipped in there, so you don't really have to screw it down, but we'll do it just for good measure. And we're getting pretty close to being done with this part. So at this point we could actually test to see if it runs, but I don't think I've ever gotten one that just doesn't run out of the box. So we'll clip down the motor, like so, and we can do the front part as well, where the gears and stuff are up here. And this is for the batteries. It's not even close. There we go. And then here it says Super II chassis. Okay, so this part also has a couple little spots where those just clip in. You can hear the click, and this will go over the top here. So we get some batteries in there and make sure it's running properly, which it should. But these ones I always forget which side it's on. There we go. Oh no, we have to put the on-off in. Good job, me. Alright, we'll get that sorted out in 1 sec. Alright, because I was such a genius, I forgot the terminal for the front. For this side, because we already got them in there. And then here we have the on and off switch. So this should go down where it's facing flat like that. And then this goes around here. This little nub. I feel like this one you kind of have to like force it in a little bit. Not like force, but just so you can see that little divot right there. It goes down, and that is what is going to push it over when you turn it. Now we can put this back on. So all of these are really easy, or not super easy, but quite easy to just take apart willy-nilly. So for that, I just had to pinch these two. That pops off the front. Now, assuming I didn't miss anything else, we can turn it on. You can see how wobbly that looks. A bit noisy, isn't it? A little wobbly, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, we'll get the rest of the parts out and keep going. Next up, we're going to put on the rollers. This one has a lot more connectors than most of the other pieces. There we go. We got that, and then 4 rollers. These are pretty easy just to twist off. If you got any big parts on there, you can clip those little nubs off like that. I would definitely clip that off. They're functionally like a kind of a guide. So you would want those to be ideally smooth. All right. And we got our screws. So these are the ones for the rollers. They got that little part on there that they spin on, and then each one uses a washer as well. Alright, so this part is going to go on the back like so. So all we got to do is take one of these little guys, get it nice and lubed up. Like so. And then we need a washer. And on the far one, I'm going to try and hold that into place. Oop, that didn't work. Hold that into place and then get it screwed in. These ones I seem to have the most trouble with. We'll see if we can get it done without too big of a hassle. Hardest part's just getting the first couple screws while keeping everything together. As you can see, it's not super easy. I literally almost every time have trouble getting this first part in. Maybe if we put it down on the table, that will help. I've tried a million different ways to do this. It seemed to work pretty well. Let's see if we can repeat that. And then I'll just fast forward to after both sides are on. After seeing if that works the best, because that seemed to go in better than pretty much every other time that I have done this. So get that on there and put it through the hole, washer on. Let's try putting it on top, right where the hole is. And is this? Nope, didn't work. It does seem a little more stable though. Maybe if I flip it around. Yeah. This is why I hate doing these. Plus I got the camera here as well, which makes it a little more difficult, because if I want to get it on camera, and it's not always in the best spot to be able to see, and I can't even see if that's in. No. Come on, please. Is that it? Oh God. All right. So we got that down. We'll screw those in. I already took up enough time. It's only going to take a couple of seconds to screw them in, so I don't have to pause the video. Make sure they're spinning nice and good. The other set, I'll definitely just show you the beginning and then screw it down and come back. So this part we're going on the back here. Ooh. It will sit like that. So we need 2 more screws. One goes in here. and that one can sit down a little bit, so it's not quite as difficult, but it is kind of hard to get it going. It's because you have to hold both of them in place at the same time. So once you got that going, just line up the other one. And get that in there. And tighten them down. So now that they're in place, you can just wrench them down. Nothing too crazy. You can see it flopping all over the place. Once you feel like a good amount of resistance, pretty much you can stop. You don't want to screw these down too hard, it's just plastic. If you go too crazy with it, you'll either strip the screw or potentially break some of the plastic. Alright, so now we got that on, we'll head on to the other rollers. Alright, so we got the screw, roller, and then the washer. Alright, so this one will also go on the furthest one out. The different ones next to them, those are for the different sized washers that you could use, or not washers, rollers. So get all this lined up, and we got a first time, which means there is a first time for anything, if I can do that first time. The other one, I could actually put it on the table. This one, if you push on it, it's gonna move a little bit. I get that nice and lubed. Get the grease off. And then try and replicate the same thing on this side as well, which I'm pretty sure is not going to happen. If I didn't drop the screwdriver, it might actually work. There we go. So just tighten these down. Okay, so now all those are on. We can work on the bottom part, so the sides stay. That should just pop off. These ones, actually probably swivel those ones off. Just double check there's no big clumps of plastic on them, which looks like they're good. And that's what this set of screws is for in the blue bag. So I'm pretty sure this one just clips up from the bottom. That staple thrown away. So I've actually never built one with this. So from what it looks like, it'll just clip up like so. And we have the screw hole here, so we're going to get this small screw. And I missed the hole. Oh boy. And again. Every time. One sec. Okay. So now that that's in there, You got the side stay on, and then I don't know if it really matters which one of these it goes into. If it went into this one or this one, I don't think that would be a big deal. We're going to put it right here. So just like that, we get the longer screws. This one a little bit easier to hold, so it should be easy just to screw right in. I don't think you need it super tight either, but you want it in there so it doesn't fall off at least. I'll probably screw it down a bit more than that. Just wanted to get it started real quick. There you go. And it was lined up for a second. And that should be good. So you can screw that down. It does seem to be like it's a little more difficult to screw things when the screw is longer. But this isn't a race of any sorts, so nice and easy. Yeah, there we go, and that's screwed down. It is a little bit crappy on there, but it looks pretty cool. Nice color scheme so far. I do enjoy it. Alright, and next up we'll have all of the stickers and stuff like that. But what we can do right now, get that plastic off, and take off the body real quick and see what it looks like without stickers. Because I am a fan of most of these without stickers. And this is a vague idea of what it'll look like. Pre-stickers. I think this one actually could do some good with stickers. So we'll do some hyperlapse for that and get back at the end. I just realized I wasn't filming for that part. We'll get that going. Alright, and there we go. We got the stickers on. Get it shut down. Is that in there? Sometimes it's hard to tell. Okay, it's in there, it's good. We're ready to go. Put the back piece on and we'll give it a check out. I think the stickers turned out to make it look a lot cooler than it did pre-stickers. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with this one. I think the picture doesn't really do it justice, but it's a nice little car. It'll be fun to take it out, tune it up, and yeah, just have some fun with it. So everyone, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll get more builds, and we've got quite a bit of cars lined up here. These we are going to tune them all up. We'll do mid-grade and then more advanced grades for all of them. We got a bunch of different chassis. We got like the Super 2s, we got the MA, VZ, FMA. So yeah, it should be fun. We got the MS. Which one's this one? This one's the FMA as well. So a bunch of different chassis to try out. This one's actually my daughter's, so she built this one herself. Pretty proud of her. She's only 9, so we didn't videotape that, but yeah, So we got the Bergkaiser Premium Super II chassis. Looks pretty sweet. And thanks again. I'll see you next time.